Everything is bone dry. Be aware of anything can start a spark.
And burn bans are in effect across much of our region right now. Later on Up with KREM, how first responders are preparing for the front line.
We will check in on all of those stories in just a minute, but first let's get you out the door with your weather forecast with meteorologist Thomas Patrick. So Thomas, it is 70 degrees right now. When will we see that first spike in the warm up?
Yeah, that spike is likely going to be at around 9-10 o'clock in the morning. And I'll tell you, yesterday during our noon broadcast, it was 90 already in Spokane. We're forecasting that to be closer to about 94 or 95. That's noon today with an afternoon temperature at 102, and that will be around 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll just peak above that triple-digit mark, and it looks like near everywhere in the inland Northwest is going to tie or break record highs today. There's the sampling of those record highs for today. For Spokane, it's just 99, so even 100 even would break the record. And at Omak 106, that's the highest mark, but we're forecasting 109 there for today. So it looks like nearly everyone should be breaking records for the inland Northwest as excessive heat warnings remain in effect through Thursday.
Well, if you need some relief from this heat right now, the city of Spokane is opening up cooling spaces for anyone who needs them during this heat wave.
So the Central, Liberty Park, Shadle Park, Hilliard, South Hill, and Indian Trail libraries will be open for cooling. Now they're open starting at 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. through Thursday. Additional support is also available at the Trent Resource Shelter. And if you need help getting to or from one of these cooling centers, Spokane Transit is offering free rides. Now the splash pads at city parks are also available to the public for free.
So a lot of us here in the inland Northwest are dealing with heat without air conditioning, and it's tough. So our Nicole Hernandez is joining us now live with some tips on how to keep your house as cool as possible. Nicole, I know a lot of people are listening to this because, yeah, it is hard to deal with if you don't have central air. Good morning.
Oh, absolutely. I'm in the same boat, Tim. I know you are. So we've got a couple of tips to keep the house cool, especially through these next few days of extreme heat. And really, right now is the time to do that. Right now and overnight are the best times to open up your windows, throw some fans in those windows to try to help cool down your house while the outside temperature is cooler. But a couple of ways you can maximize how cool you're going to get your house is putting the fans facing outside the window. So face the fan out, pushing air from your house outside into the real world on the side of the house that's hotter, so likely the side of the house that gets afternoon sun. And then on the other side of the house where it's cooler, put your fans facing in the house. So the fans facing out, push out the warmer air on that side of the house, and the fans facing in, push the cooler air all around, circulating cooler air, really ultimately cooling down the house. But then the trick is to know when to pull the fans out and close everything up. As soon as that outside temperature reaches warmer than what you have gotten it down to inside, that's when you close up your windows, you close up all of your blinds, especially on those windows facing that afternoon sun. And if you have blackout curtains, use those blackout curtains, close them up. It might be dark in your house, but it'll be worth it because that'll really help make sure your house isn't heating up. Now, there's also some other things you can do. They make window foil, kind of window things that you can put on top of them that will help reflect that heat out. So that's something you can go grab from any hardware store. Another thing you can do is really don't cook inside, even though that sounds a little hard to do. Try to use any outside barbecue, cook on that, because those things heat up your house as well. I made that mistake yesterday. I used my oven and it definitely made my kitchen more hot than it should have been. And really any appliances will generate heat. So if you're doing laundry, hang dry your clothes, or when you're doing dishes, try to do them by hand. And if you don't already have LED light bulbs, now might be a good time to try to replace those LED light bulbs for new ones because they produce less heat than some of those older light bulbs. One last little tip. Cammie here, she's taking advantage. Some of these couches, these faux leather and leather couches, they can get hot and sticky and gross if your house is hot, and they might not be very comfortable to sit on. So if you have an extra blanket laying around, preferably even a thin sheet, you can lay that down. Just make it a little bit more comfortable if you are hanging out on the couch. Cammie loves it, so I think it's working for now. All right, I'll send things back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Nicole. Now, with the triple-digit heat sticking around for at least the next couple of days, your parked cars can actually reach deadly temperatures in just a matter of minutes. And our Brandon T. Jones has actually been looking into ways that you can stay safe during this time, especially with your car. So, Brandon, what can you share?
Well, yeah, Channing, that's exactly right. And extreme heat is the #1 weather-related cause of death in the United States. That statistic alone is enough reason to go ahead and use caution with your vehicles, especially when you're traveling with small children and pets. So we reached out to the Spokane Fire Department. We got some information on just some tidbits about how you can be safe during this heat wave. Also, according to the CDC, the temperature in your car can drastically rise within a matter of minutes after shutting off the vehicle. For example, if the temperature outside is 80 degrees, within 20 minutes, the inside temperature of your car is 109 degrees. After 40 minutes, it moves up to 118 degrees. After an hour, 60 minutes in total, it's up to 123 degrees. And that's just if the outside temperature is 80 degrees. So you can imagine how hot it's going to be in some of those vehicles here today when it reaches triple digits outside. So that poses the question of what should you do if you see someone, whether it's a child or pet, inside of a locked vehicle in these temperatures.
You know, if it's a life and death thing, if the kid's unconscious or, you know, if they're in distress, break the window. That would be my suggestion, yeah.
Yeah, and so you heard that information from the Spokane Fire Department, but also they recommend taking something like your phone, going ahead and placing it in the back seat of your car, especially if you have a car seat back there, if you've got a pet back there. That way, you're not going to slip up with that thought process. You're going to be looking for your phone and you're not going to forget that you have someone else or something else in the back seat of your car. So those are vital tips, and it's also vital information, especially with this hot weather that we're seeing this week. Just go ahead and remember, you may have someone in the back seat, and also just remember that the inside of these vehicles can get extremely hot with these temperatures. For now, reporting live in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
And today is going to be the hottest of days, even just air temperature wise. I remember doing an experiment years ago where I put the thermometer in the dash of my car and it was up to about 140, 145 in a matter of just a half an hour. And that'll be the case for today. It's already 70 degrees right now. If you got to get anything done outdoors, like walking the dog, now is the time to do that before those temperatures really start to increase quickly. We have what's called a Rex block, a blocking pattern that keeps that heat in place for the Northwest for at least a couple days here. It's not going to stick around too long, but starting yesterday through Thursday, it's definitely going to be the peak of this heat wave because of that particular weather pattern. But today is the peak of that at 102 in Spokane. That will break the record for today's date by 3 degrees. Record high just 99 today.